Hello, good evening. Earlier today, like a few hours ago, not even, I finished this little thing that still needs blocking right now. Which would have been the previous video that I uploaded if I can schedule things correctly. I don't. I make like 17 videos at the same time because I have 17 works in progress going at any given time. Anyway, I finished that today. So of course I have to go and use the new yarn that I got while working on this. I took that project with me to the Halloween movie night at the Wee Yarn Company at Ross's studio. Of course, when I go to a yarn studio, I have to purchase yarn. That's the rule, right? That's what you do. When you see a giant wall of yarn, you have to buy some. So I did. I got 3 skeins of this. It is Agnes Reply, which is the baby alpaca base. Love it, it's so soft. In the colorway the Faggotuk. Got 3 of them. Now, I'm not expecting this to be enough. I'm gonna be honest. There was just 3 of them left, and I was like, I love this color, I need it, I want it. And I want it in a hexagon cardigan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start on one side of it, and then I'm gonna see how far 3 skeins takes me, right? Like if it's enough to make a cropped hexagon cardigan, I'm just gonna take that. If it doesn't look like it's gonna be enough, I'm gonna text Ross or like text him on Instagram. And I'm gonna be like, hey bestie, do you have 3 more skeins of a color that you think would go well split? So like 1/2 one color, 1/2 the other, which is how I do most of my hexagon cardigans. Or could I perhaps convince you to dye up another lot? In which case I would have to buy 6, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I am going to do one side first. So this is just a basic hexagon cardigan, right? Granny square with 6 sides. I'm doing a 6mm hook on a fingering weight yarn, so this will be very drapey. And yeah, this is my comfort project, really. Anything granny stitch, without real math to it is comfort project for me. I was kind of over the granny stitch for a little bit because I made so many granny stitch things while working on my thesis, but now we're back in that zone. It is granny stitch central up in here. I was at first like, oh, I want a granny stitch, I'll go work on my 6-day star blanket that I'm working on, also in yarn from Ross. But then I remembered that I messed up counting somewhere and I have to figure out where and frog it and figure that out, and I'm not doing that tonight. I just finished a knitting project. That's enough brain cells. That's enough. We're doing easy stuff today. So yeah, I'll probably update you on this tomorrow. Hi, good morning. I'm getting ready to go to the internship, but almost finished the first skein yarn. And I texted Ross and I was like, hey, you got any advice on colors to mix with it? And at first she was like, I don't know, because it's kind of this colorway is kind of a lot. And I was thinking getting like a muted color or more neutral. And then I like pointed at one of the semi-solids, a gray, and he was like, oh my god, but what if? And then he named 2 yarns that are like semi-solid grays but with colored speckles, and the colored speckles are the same colors that are in here. And I was like, you are so smart, this is exactly why I'm asking you. Like, you're the guy that makes the yarn, you would know if anything lines up. So I put out a vote on Instagram to see which of the 2 I'm gonna go with, and then I have to wait regardless because he doesn't have them in stock. So I'm just gonna run out of yarn on this. I wound up the second cake, I'm taking it to the internship with me. I'm gonna see how far into the week I get, and then I'm just gonna work on something else until I get more yarn. Okay, so I finished this in the previous video, right? And I blocked it this week. It's a little bit itchy because it's wool, but it has space and it lays flat at the shoulders. Wow, that's cool. It also works with a blouse under it, you know, like how I have been taught to traditionally wear sweater vests, you know, with a blouse under it or a long sleeve shirt. But this works. I'll wear this tomorrow probably with something under it because it's too cold to wear it like this, but I was lazy. Cool. I don't need to actually go anywhere right now, so I'm gonna get back into pajama pants. Hi, okay, so I mentioned that I was on the second skein of this yarn, right? It's got a fair bit out of it already. But I also got a good bit of progress in. Hi, Neo. I joined the shoulder and I'm working on extending the arm. Let's see. Arm needs some extra. I'm gonna be doing that today, or at least working on it today. I don't know if I'll finish it. Hi, Neo. And I'm gonna be listening to an audiobook edition of a Shakespeare play. Because I had to read this play 2 years ago for class. And now I have another class that is asking me to read this play. And I don't feel like reading again, but I'll listen to it. I could probably get by with just like the vague memory of when I had to write an essay about it, but I prefer being able to contribute a bit more to class. So I'll just listen to it, refresh my memory, and then I'll have my notes from when I read it last time. Right, Neo? We're gonna listen to Shakespeare. And then crochet during that. Should be about 3 hours, so cool. That's what I'll be up to. See ya. Neo, why are you like this? Why are you like this? Wait. Why are you eating my hook? That's nasty. Foolish creature, sit. Okay, it's a little bit later, and the sleeve is done for as far as I can do that right now, because the cuff is going to be in the other color. It's got the little decrease. Hopefully, if I remember that I want to do this, I wrote it down, but that doesn't really mean much. If I remember correctly, I'm going to put a thumb hole for the sleeve, like in the ribbing, when I get the other color. So right now I have this, right? And then my thumb goes through the ribbing, and this is nice and cozy. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to add to the body. I rewound the yarn, still on the second cake of yarn. I've got 60 grams left in it, but Ross and all of these guys actually, because every indie yarn that I've gotten so far has had this. Ross is an absolute legend, and his skeins are usually closer to 110 grams than 100 grams. So this thing right here right now weighs about 170. And there's 60 left in that. But that's only the second skein. That's amazing. Anyway, that does mean that this is halfway into the second skein, and I still have to add the entire bottom of this, and I would need a cuff and ribbing on the bottom and the entire other side. So 3 skeins would indeed not have been enough. Good to know, I was correct. I've already paid Ross for the 3 skeins of the colorway that I'm doing for the other half is called Aunt Hilda. It was between that one or Gandalf the Gay, and I thought Gandalf the Gay would be funny for the name of it, especially when paired up with Fagadook, but Aunt Hilda just looked better. He's gonna be dyeing that up sometime this week, and then it needs to dry, and he needs to package it, and he needs to get around to dropping it off. Because I am extremely privileged and live really close to him, so he will just drop it off in person and not charge me shipping. Absolute legend, love that. I'll probably finish this honestly today, and then just put it away until I get the new yarn, and then I have a second time of being like, wow, excited to get to work on the granny cardigan. So I need to think of something else to do with the rest of my week, because it's not even evening yet. I don't have to go anywhere. I have tasks to do. I have to finish listening to the audiobook, and I have to do some lesson prep, and I have to pack a bag for tomorrow, and I've got to figure out my assignment for a class and all that stuff, but I don't have to go play. I have to go to the store, but that's not real. That's not going places. I can do that in my pajamas, and it takes like 20 minutes max. So I can probably get this done, and then switch to a different project. What am I working on after this? My sock? I should finish my sock. I've had that in progress for a while, and I would like to start another pair. I would like to wear these socks. I've told you now, when I finish the body on this, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow, I'm gonna make progress on my sock. That's gonna be the rest of the video after this. Okay, I'm gonna continue. Hi, good morning, it's Friday now. The first half is done, including a round of single crochet all around to make it easier to attach and crochet the border into it. This much yarn is left of the second skein, so good thing we have a third. Now I'm waiting on Ross. So I took my sock with me yesterday. Yesterday was first day to the internship. And on the bus there I got some rows in. I'm almost done with the foot. It's almost the same length. I keep the yarn in the first sock, by the way. I'm not sure if I ever showed you that. This is how I take it with me in my bag, because this is keeping the yarn cake safe. And I can measure how far I am against the sock I already have. That's wonderful. Anyway, on my way to the internship, I got some good progress in on this. And then I got to the internship, and I knew that my class, well, my supervisor's class, but I also teach them, kind of. It sounds more complicated than it needs to be. The class that I also teach had a test on Wednesday. So Thursday morning, when I got to the internship, I got their test, and I just started grading it. And I actually still really like grading, and I think that's partially because I like fiber arts. Hear me out. For grading, the way you usually do it, if you're smart about it, is you grade one question at a time. So you grade the same question 30 to 120-ish times, and then you move on to the next one, and you do that a fuck ton, and then you move on to the next one, and so forth, and then you do a bunch of math at the end. It's a very repetitive thing, but yeah, I spent the entire day doing that, and then I had a short call with one of my friends, and then I just went to bed. So I didn't get any crafts done besides my morning sock progress. Today I'll have a long commute again, but it's time to go to a class. This is a class on Shakespeare in secondary education, so how I would utilize a Shakespeare play to teach it to 15 to 18-year-olds. And we're talking about Othello today, which, gotta be honest, is not my favorite. It's a good play. You can say very useful things about it. It has some iconic little characters. I just don't like them. And that's allowed. You don't have to like everything. That's fine. But I'm a little bit sad that this is the second time in class that I'll have to have a serious discussion about Othello while it is my least favorite Shakespeare play. Sad. Right. How much do I have left of this sock actually? I am still very sleepy. I woke up and I was just like right to work. That's strange. Usually I need like at least 30 minutes to come to terms with the fact that I'm awake. Let's see. Heels lined up. I need like 4 more rows ish. Not even, because this is stretched. I'll do like 2 or 3 more. I might shove my foot in there just to see if it's actually lining up, because I'm not counting. I'm not counting these rows. I might be able to finish this before I have to leave for class, because I have like 3 more hours. It's one of those middle of the day classes. I'm gonna focus then. Hi. I got to the part where I know that I'm switching to a different color and doing 1 or 2 rows in that color. But I took out my notebook that I take my notes in when I'm crafting, or that I used to take my notes in. I haven't been very good about that. And I didn't write down how I did the toe. So then I went to my text messages to myself, where I also take notes, you know, when I don't have this with me, or when I'm being lazy. And there's also no notes in there. So then I went into my Discord messages to one of my friends, where I sometimes send notes while crafting. It's also not in there. So I didn't write down what I did. Now I could go and watch back a video, because I'm pretty sure I did this in a video, but it wasn't the main topic of the video, so I don't know which one it would be. So I'm just gonna stare at this with my eyeballs for a second and say it is 2 or 3 rows, and then I just decrease on both sides, and it doesn't look symmetrical, but I'm not sure if that's because I just fucked up on the closing it, or because it actually isn't. Yeah, this is like a weird little bumpy, but it's fine overall. Let's see. I'll just do it symmetrically. It's fine. So this is about I don't know how many rows. I'll just start. I need stitch markers to put in the halfway points again. Yeah. Ends weaved in. Sock. This one turned out a little bit better than the previous one. Looks pretty similar, but this one is a little bit more messy, and yeah, nice, winning. Same for the heel. This one is a little bit cleaner because I knew what I was doing. They are sisters, not twins. Cool, I finished a pair of socks. And I've got quite a bit of that yarn left over still, so I might be able to make like short socks, like ankle socks. But also I have this yarn. Random yarn that I got from someone at some point. I'm gonna use this. Okay, hi, good evening. It is Sunday. I split the 50 gram skein yarn into 2 equal ones. And this is how far I am on one of the socks already. It's an ankle sock, so it was just the ribbing and then like 3 rows of stockinette before going into the heel. I changed up the heel a bit from how I did it on the previous ones. Not by a lot, it's still a heel flap and gusset. I just changed the length of the heel flap and the start of the turn a bit. Gusset is the same, pretty sure. The decreases. I know that this is technically not the right way to do it, but I just like slip 2 and then knit that on both sides, which means they are asymmetrical, but the difference is minimal and it doesn't bother me, so I will remain too lazy to change that. I have an idea in my head, which is a combination of the way I did the toe on one of the other socks, and actually I have them, wait. So this is the first one, and here I decreased only on one side every other round, and on the other one I decreased on either side of the halfway point, and then I skipped around after every set of them. I'm going to do a little in-betweeny section of it and keep the way I close it off, I think, because this is just like a kind of messy Kitchener stitch way I did it, which should be fine. Yeah, I wore these to class and then I washed them, and that was fine, I think. It's not too much effort to just like dump them in some water with wool wash and then swish wash them around a bit and hang them out to dry. It's very doable and fine. That's nice. Right, it's Sunday evening already, because yesterday I went to work and I knit on my sock and I read my books that I'm reading or listened to my audiobooks, and I prepared for my classes this week and made my schedule for my students for their grammar lessons, and now it's evening time, so I'm going to head to bed soon. Maybe finish a bit more knitting, but I'm most likely gonna have this carry over into tomorrow before this one's done, which still, Friday to Monday compared to multiple months, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I'll probably show you tomorrow when one of these is finished, and then I'll have my notes about how I did it, and I'll leave the second one for a different time, just because otherwise this is gonna take a while. And probably if I finish this tomorrow and then I have a very busy few days in which I probably won't have a lot of time to do anything, and then Ross should have my yarn, so that'll be perfect. Perfect little in-between project. Amazing. And if it does take longer than that, I have a lot of blankets that I could be working on. Okay, yeah, see you tomorrow. Hi, I'm back from class. It's Monday. And this is a sock. He's done. Finished him during class, and then I was grumpy because I didn't have anything else with me. Yeah, I like the way I did the toe. Let me show you. So on the previous ones, I did 2 different strategies, and it's a very straight toe, right? There's a bit of a decrease to it, but not a lot. But because knitting stretches a lot, I was like, let me just decrease more. So, yeah, let's see. It has decreases on both sides. And it goes relatively steep. Still quite a wide front, which I prefer. I see some people make this like even further, so it's just like a really tiny point, which makes sense if you're doing them asymmetrical, right? Like the point is at your big toe, and then you need to know which sock is left and which sock is right. I feel like I would mess that up and have 2 left socks at the end of it, so this is perfect. This is fine. It fits nicely. It's very cozy when it's on. The seam is a little bit more noticeable on this one because I pulled it a little bit tighter and I weaved my end in across the seam because I was like, oh, that maybe makes it like a little bit more secure. Probably does, but it also makes the seam a little bit more noticeable when I'm wearing it, so not sure if I like that. We'll see. I'll figure that out. That's it for this one, I think. Yeah. You'll see next time, probably, if I make the second sock for this, and if Ross has my yarn and I finish my cardigan. Wahoo! Productive week. Yippee!